The Vilja Sol Declaration. The following is a declaration presenting the work done by young food professionals from 24 European countries in a week-long Eating City summer campus at La Belgerie de Vixaux, France. My dream is that we finally have a food revolution that really connects urban and rural communities together, for have too long been divided and not understood each other. Farmers have to start talking to farmers. Farmers have to start talking to citizens. We need to understand how our food system works, or nothing will ever change.
How can we actually make that the world gets more sustainable, and how we deal with food, how we see food, how we taste it, and doing this here it's fabulous.
We need a revolution between rural communities and urban communities if we're going to have a real food democracy.
I would really dream of having many more farmers markets in the city.
Local production should be developed. In fact, in my town, local products are sold just once a week. It should happen many times.
My dream of Eating City is to start with an education for the children at school. I think it's very important to get to know where the food is coming from.
Doing some work camps, for example in farms with farmers, so they can see the real stuff.
I would consider having big valuable educational program till kindergarten to make just people aware of sustainability, of global warming, or just food waste and so on.
I wish that people should be more aware about plankton, as more than 50% of the oxygen we have are produced in the ocean.
I think that it is important for food policy to support young and upcoming farmers as much as possible, so as to promote local food and organic food, and most importantly sustainability.
In creating the food policy, I think people should be more aware about the environment they live. Organically grown food, the environment, the social benefit.
Eating is always something social, and it should also rest something social. So my project beside all the others would be the round table, so that the city will have a round table each week where everyone can come and share his ideas about eating and the perfect eating city.
Next to forecast program, I would like to put a little info about what's in season. Let's say, okay, next week there's gonna be 20 degrees and also radish season.
The biggest issue for me is the recycling of the nutritions that you are transport from the rural areas to the city, and you need to put them back to the soil again.
Copenhagen is already very far in the whole organic food thing, but in order to keep developing it, I think that maybe we should focus more on sustainable food.
I see farmers who are respected for their work, but I also see that they are respecting us, the consumers, so they are also sustainable in a way that they don't overprice their products.
My dream food policy for a city would strongly favor artisanal production, because artisanal production is a great part of our heritage and culture, and also a great way of keeping a lot of the good things in the food system alive.
I want to live in a city where the food policy favors diversity, as well as healthy food, good quality food, affordable food that didn't travel across the world. And having as many people as possible producing their own food.
If I was in charge of my city, I would actually increase the number of urban farming and farming in public spaces.
We see the mixed use between urban and rural as not as a disadvantage, but as an opportunity that for growing much more of food inside the city.
Creating this form of solidarity between the rural and the urban. I even went as far as thinking of ruralizing the urban landscapes.
My dream for food policy in my city is to create a strategy which connects everybody that's working to do with food, health, sustainability, urban planning, and anything else that's connected to food and the population within the city. So I'd like to connect all of these dots and make everybody work together in a holistic manner that addresses issues of food and sustainability for our local area.
If I were the mayor of my city,
I would make it possible to have organic and bio-labeled food in every public institution.
I would love to live in the city that really takes care of what citizens eat, and it should be done through supporting and helping two main target groups in the process, which are producers and consumers. Producers should be supported by the government with the measures that helps them to do their job, and consumers should be supported by having the opportunity to learn a lot about the local scale producers and their products.
My dream about the city food policy would be that everyone could have a place under the sun.
The Eating City Summer Campus has been a great experience for me. It's allowed me to learn about lots of different cultures around Europe and what they're doing to address the issues to do with food sustainability and food policy.
It has been a packed week, and it's good to know that different countries in Europe have the same problem and are trying to fight together to overcome.
I'm coming from Hungary, where we have really big problems about our food policy, and I can see the solution, like there is a solution, and it gives me really much hope.
It's like making people aware of the problems and make just educational big step to change something in the future.
Really, it's one of the best option that I had in my life to stay with this kind of people and learn these kind of things.
This is something that will always be in my heart.
We created a lot of friendships, and hopefully we will make a lot of things and projects together in the years to come.
This week here in the summer camp, there's a huge potential of young people who want to do something to change the paradigm in the food system. Mm-hmm. And not only by thinking about it, but also by doing.
What we want to achieve in this camp, I mean, to have a declaration with the priorities of the young people.
Of food production centers, so that we could reduce actual mileage, and this way food could get to the final user.
We have these stickers now. We're gonna vote for the best projects, the best ideas that we made this week. For the ideas that get the most stickers, they'll be in the declaration which we are making today, to spread later to make a real food policy.
There is also a lot on primary production.
There is a lot in community supported agriculture, I think. It is 4, 6, 10 points for community supported agriculture.
It is an outcome of discussions, presentations, working groups and general conversation. All of us agreed on the strong need for a paradigm change in city food policy. Food should not simply be a commodity, it should have a human face. We propose a food system that is transparent, fair to all actors involved, and which focuses on providing a sufficient amount of nutritious, environmentally friendly, quality food for everyone. This declaration is a summary of the ideas devised by all participants to reach these goals. We focus on general policy and offer recommendations on how to educate all actors in the food system as characterised by the general Eating City Declaration. The Eating City needs to implement an open, transparent and participatory food policy. This should link urban and rural communities and serve the needs of all people. These people should focus on rethinking the role of food production and consumption, creating a fair and balanced relationship between the two. This supports an educational framework and puts emphasis on sufficiency rather than abundance. There is a great need to focus on moving from a more with less food production paradigm to an approach where less can be more. Legislation can act as a useful tool for producers and consumers to organise food chains in new ways. This can be implemented by policymakers and communities. To support this, an open policy forum is needed whereby different actors and citizens can pitch ideas and foster dialogue on food policy. Food policy should be evaluated by a panel of outside experts in a transdisciplinary way to promote knowledge exchange and the use of best practices. To implement the wide-ranging food policy, the city should have a designated department focusing on policy affecting all actors in the food system. Primary food production. Networking and knowledge exchange for the primary production industry should be a priority area. This can be done through a variety of methods. Professional skills updates opportunities can help the industry to remain efficient. Industry dialogue should be made public, keeping the system transparent. Online platforms allow timely communication between the industry and the consumer without geographical barriers. Social events between the industry and the consumer foster relationships and knowledge dissemination, attracting media attention in an engaging and informal manner. Transport and warehousing. Research to optimize efficiency within the transport and warehousing industries will help to reduce costs, the CO2 footprint and waste, among many other issues. Investing in improved logistics management will help reduce the number of actors in a chain, helping to create a more transparent food system. We see the potential of new technological approaches to food mapping and research as a means to foster greater understanding of the process from farm to fork. Industry. The need for diversification overburdens small-scale producers, preventing a competitive playing field with larger industries. Access to business, legal and financial support and advice may help to create efficiencies to reduce required documentation. Within the health and safety framework, artisanal methods should be recognised. Best practice case studies should be made to allow other sector players to improve their methods based on proven success stories. City food supply chain. Policy should enable the greening of urban spaces from edible landscapes, community growing spaces to formal educational training areas for urban food production. This could raise awareness of the public on issues of seasonality and highlight the skill involved in production. Urban planning should include flexible retail areas for local producers and social entrepreneurs within the city and surrounding areas. This provides access to a supply of affordable, nutritious, seasonal food, which therefore supports local economic development, providing health and social benefits. A public procurement consortium for locally and ethically sourced produce creates easier access and reliable markets. City food policy has to think global while acting local. Kitchen food preparation. Apprenticeships and on-the-job training for the hospitality and catering sector will provide knowledge to make efficiencies within professional kitchens. At home, informal education about food through fun, social activities in the community helps provide confidence and skills to prepare fresh meals and make the most of the region's bounty. City food policy regulations should take into account the possibility to share homemade food in public spaces or areas under catering contract to facilitate educational events. Eating out of home and serving food. Training should be provided to all front of house staff to be aware about the story of food within their establishment. This allows consumers to make an informed choice about their food and is an aspect of informal education. Open door kitchen policies should be encouraged as the norm to allow transparency for consumers. Waste. There should be a mandatory waste management plan for all the city's food system that takes into account each actor. Reducing waste is the most efficient waste policy. We recognise that there will never be zero waste within the food system, but working towards minimising it is invaluable to food city policy. Campaigns to raise awareness about waste issues within the community are also an important aspect for consumers. Nutrient recycling such as phosphorus and nitrogen is an invaluable part of rethinking the management of limited natural resources. Communities across Europe are already taking action in schools, workplace and within their daily lives. Your support can help to realise our vision. Together we can empower each other to value our food system, Create a well-connected rural-urban society, supporting young and old to foster a sustainable food system that can be enjoyed for generations to come. Bon appetit. Take action and visit www.eatingcities.org.